Howdy there, listener. Welcome to Real, Audio Essays and Mysteries. You can call me Carter, and I'll be your host. Come with me as we wade through news stories, mysteries, declassified government files, true crimes, cults, and legends. Everyone and everything has a story, and there are so many out there. Some fact, some fiction, but all in need of being processed, analyzed, categorized, and above all, told. So, if you would, please pull up a chair, join me by the fire, and lend me your ear, because I have so much that I want to tell you. April 3rd, 1974. Over the next 24 hours, the United States will experience one of the most infamous and deadly tornado outbreaks in its entire history. An outbreak that changed the lives of millions, as well as everything we knew about tornado science at the time. So horrible, in fact, so shocking, that it didn't seem right by many, especially in the National Weather Service, to just label it another outbreak. Because it wasn't just another outbreak. There was nothing normal about it. It was a super outbreak. The 1974 super outbreak spawned 148 confirmed tornadoes across 13 states, 30 of which were F4 or higher, wreaking havoc and incredible damage across the nation. At the end of it all, $3.97 billion, that is in 2024 dollars, would be done in damage, and 319 lives would be lost. That averages a little over 2 deaths and $26.8 million per tornado. 12 of the 13 states would record tornado-related deaths, the most of which being in Alabama, which recorded a death toll of 77. Ohio would only have 39 deaths in comparison, but unlike Alabama, most of its deaths would come from just one singular tornado, and not multiple storms. One monster that would take the lives of 32 people before it was finished. Around 4:33 p.m., the afternoon of April 3rd, a man by the name of Homer G. Rambley saw something in the sky. He knew there was supposed to be bad weather that day, but he didn't expect to see anything like what was forming in front of him. He stopped there on the road right outside of Xenia, and took a camera from his car and snapped a photo of the rather alien scene before him. There, in the greenish-blue sky, were several squid-like tentacles reaching down from above, lapping the ground and wrapping around each other. It looked like some kind of alien or monster out of a movie or Lovecraftian novel. But this wasn't fiction. This was real. And the reality of what was about to take place was worse than anyone's imagination. The tentacles weren't tentacles at all, no monster from above, but they were thin vortices of a new forming multi-vortex tornado. Now, unlike other tornadoes, a multi-vortex tornado is made up of multiple vortices or vortexes, spinning around either a middle one or each other. Unlike how we usually think of a tornado as having one singular funnel that then grows to be very large, a multi-vortex tornado is, well, multiple vortexes. 2, 3, as many as it can make. Though, like the Xenia tornado, usually these types of tornadoes grow so large that you can no longer see the individual vortices spinning around it, unless they come out to the side and make themselves known. As the tornado grew, it grew up to at least half a mile wide, and became a black mass of death that approached Xenia. The city of Xenia was warned, but these warnings weren't enough. There weren't enough sirens to let everyone know of the incoming danger. The tornado formed too fast and immediately started carving through the city. Ohio itself was more or less prepared than most states in the country, at least when it came to tornadoes, but the National Weather Service concluded that it just wasn't enough. Not enough warning, not enough time, and not enough shelter. The funnel was on the ground for 39 minutes, and it traveled 31 miles. It was also a fairly fast tornado, with a forward speed of around 50 miles per hour. It was on top of people before they knew what to do, before they knew what was going on. If they weren't already in proper shelter, then it was just too late. If you were above ground and got caught by the monster, there was virtually no chance of survival. In theory, a fast tornado can be a good thing. While it will hit you hard, it'll be gone before you know it. Depending on its size and where the winds are the most intense, it may not stay long enough for the winds to grab hold of anything. It can just blow right past you, Unfortunately, the Xenia tornado's forward speed wasn't the only thing that was fast. It's estimated that at least at its peak, it had a wind speed of 305 miles an hour. Even if it was only on a home for a few moments, well, that was all it needed for extreme damage to be done. Because that home, and unfortunately the people inside, would be experiencing some of the fastest winds ever recorded on the planet Earth. For 32 lives, these moments were all the tornado needed to end them. When the nightmare finally ended at 5:12 p.m., half the city of Xenia, Ohio had been destroyed. Entire subdivisions with brick homes were completely swept away. 32 dead, 1,150 injured, and 1,400 buildings were completely destroyed, resulting in $1.59 billion in 2024 dollars. Despite this, the majority of Xenia's population of 25,000 was thankfully unaffected, at least directly. While they weren't directly injured or killed by the twister, they would have to deal with the trauma of living through such a terrible event, seeing their city destroyed and then having to rebuild from nothing. Many would also have to deal with losing their jobs, as there was just no job to go back to. The tornado had taken it. Their work had been wiped off the face of the earth. For many, the only thing the tornado didn't take was their life. After the outbreak, then President Richard Nixon decided to make a survey stop. He needed to view at least some of the damage that had happened during this incredible outbreak that affected the country he was leading. So he decided to make his only stop be at Xenia, Ohio, which he had heard had suffered the worst damage. After surveying the damage, he remarked, "As I look back over the disasters, I saw the earthquake in Anchorage in 1964, I saw the hurricanes, Hurricane Camille in 1969 down in Mississippi, and I saw Hurricane Agnes in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. And it's hard to tell the difference among them all, but I would say, in terms of destruction, just total devastation, this is the worst I have seen." Dr. Ted Fujita himself considered the damage of the Xenia tornado to be the worst out of all the 148 tornadoes that touched down during the outbreak. Damage in Xenia was so bad that Fujita felt compelled to give it an F6 rating. This was the second and last time that any such rating would be given by Fujita, since he formed the scale back in 1970. But just like with the Lubbock tornado, the National Weather Service downgraded it to an F5, believing there shouldn't be anything higher than a 5. The severity of the super outbreak, and the Xenia tornado in particular, led to the rapid expansion of the National Weather Service weather radio system, early warning systems, radar stations, and the building of sirens nationwide in order to warn in the event of such tornadoes. School programs, events, and drills were also implemented nationwide to teach everyone about the severity of such storms and how they could keep safe. The National Weather Service made a commitment to make sure that something like this would never happen again, at least in terms of loss of life, should there be another super outbreak or Xenia tornado. This mission was successful until recently, as funding has, for whatever reason, been cut for the National Weather Service and the maintaining of such systems, whether they be radar systems, radio systems, siren systems, and so on and so forth. This means that currently, we are more at risk at seeing a high casualty event if there is another outbreak like the super outbreak of 1974, or God forbid, a major tornado hits a highly populated major metropolitan area with little to no warning. And this only gets worse as more days go by and more funding gets pulled, more people get fired, less balloons get sent up, and radars get taken offline. Things becoming even more and more dire than they were in the 70s. Hopefully, the National Weather Service will be able to recover and continue to keep us safe from the storms that hit us literally every year. The 1974 super outbreak was yet another example of a high casualty event that could have been prevented with more efficient and better warning systems, more or better funded National Weather Service, and so on. And even at the time, the National Weather Service knew this, but to their credit, they were limited by the technology that would go on beyond leaps and bounds of their wildest imaginations in just the years to follow. However, it doesn't matter how good the technology is if they're not able to use it, or their funding is taken away. You can have all the technology and ability in the world, but if there's no one there to actually use it, then it doesn't matter. But hopefully, things will get better and such a terrible event never takes place. The Xenia tornado also proved a theory that Ted Fujita had long held, but had been rejected among his peers. Several pictures and eyewitness accounts and even a film clearly showed that the Xenia tornado had multiple vortices that Fujita had long since theorized. Pictures such as the one by Homer G. Rambley definitively proved Fujita's theory and changed tornado science forever. But it wouldn't be the last change the world would see. Far from it. As just a few decades later, tornado science would be turned on its head. An old legend would spring to life in horrific fashion. But that's all we have for today. So until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and we'll see you back here on Reel to Reel.